attending tonight's meeting on Thursday, July 9th at 7 p.m. Welcome. And now I'd like to ask Mr. Anderson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. And now could I have a motion in regard to the approval of the agenda?
I'll make that motion. Support it.
Thank you. I would like to amend the motion on C to say or ditching, okay? Because we don't know how that's, whatever the money that's left over, I don't know whether we'll have what we need for Embury Road, and so I would like, if we can't do that, then I'd like to do ditching.
chip seal or
Or
ditching
ditching.
repairs on every portion of Henry Road.
Yes,
Yeah, no problem.
thank you.
Yeah, and repairs, because that way we
I'll amend that motion.
Thank you. Is a second to that?
Yes, I accept.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes, and now I'd like to have anybody that had public comment? Ed?
We missed you, Ed.
Well,
I did.
How you doing?
Speak for myself.
Ed, here, 7212 Porter Road. We're here tonight to talk to you in regards to roads. The township has no responsibility for roads, no obligation to do roads. Genesee County Road Commission does. I see in your packet snow and ice removal trucks in your packet. We're not responsible for roads. Where does the money come from that we spend on snow and ice removal? And are all these costs accounted for? The taxes are increasing for roads at the pump. The township receives no funds. We pay taxes to Genesee County Road Commission. Already. I already do that. Then we use township money to do the job. We're already paying the road commission to do it. Something's not right with that. It just doesn't sit right. And the reason I bring this up, I see in the packet here, and we've always, and I want to say we've always kind of denied the true cost of road plowing. I see in the township packet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times snow removal, ice equipment, trucks. We already have trucks for snow removal. I'm not saying we shouldn't do snow removal. I think we need to know what the true cost is. I think the DPW is responsible for water and sewer. That's where their money should be used. So it bothers me that we're buying equipment on top of the equipment we already have. A few years ago, we were supposed to be retiring equipment. A few years ago, we were going to quit plowing roads. I think the township needs to find a specific funding for it if they're going to continue to plow roads. But please, get the true cost, because I know all the trucks that sit out there are for snow plowing. It's expensive. Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I follow up with just a comment?
We had a rather lengthy discussion on the issue on Tuesday, and several of us brought up those very points, so your comments are well taken.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't make it Tuesday. Or the casino.
Okay. Did you do well, Ed? Great. Okay, and now it's time for a presentation from Mike Rogers from the Rose Pest Solutions.
Good evening. The mosquito abatement program officially started Monday, April 13th. And when we began larviciding, wetlands and swamps were at an average level for the first time in probably 3 to 4 years. By the end of April, we had made our way through the majority of the township, and we began round 2 of treatments in May, and now we're in our 4th round of larvicide treatments. Currently, we've used over 700 pounds of granule larvicide and have treated over 5,700 catch basins. To give you an idea of where we stay with that granule larvicide, we used 770 pounds all of last year, so we're up to 700 pounds at the beginning of July. During the months of May and June, the township did not notice its normal spring hatch. We had pretty good control of wetlands and drainage areas. We didn't really have a spring hatch like we normally get pestered with the 2nd and 3rd week of May. If I would have given my report last month, I would have said it was the best start we've had since 2004. I'd now say we're at a normal season, and I know some would disagree. When we get a hatch like this, it's the worst it's ever been. But just to remind everybody where we were last year, it started in the middle of May like this, and it lasted until the beginning of August. So not as bad as it was last year. But anytime we receive that 1-inch rain, that's where it hits us hard. And we got that on the 14th of June and again on the 22nd of June. So we will experience a hatch. We knew it was coming. June 29th, we received, since June 29th, we've received about 350 calls for adult mosquitoes. In the prior 11 weeks, we handled just over 100. 90% of the calls we've responded to since then have been self-inflicted, meaning containers of water, properties on neighbor properties. It's usually the issue in well-developed areas that don't have wetlands. We're running into containers, and I forwarded some pictures to Mrs. Hoffman this last week. We got a call from a very frustrated resident, yelling, not too happy with us at the time. We arrived on the property and found that they had not opened their above-ground swimming pool. We can only estimate that swimming pool was producing tens of thousands of mosquitoes a day.
Oh my gosh.
That not only affected his street, but many, many streets around him. So once we treated the pool, and we adult-decided that area, we haven't had additional calls for that neighborhood since. We need people to go out and dump out containers. They also need to protect themselves. Our technicians spend more time in the township and deeper in the swamps than any other resident, and we don't get eaten away or eaten alive and carried away. We need to use the proper protection. We've treated over 700 miles of roadway. We have completed more than 435 individual property inspections and treatments. And our technicians have already devoted close to 1,500 man-hours. We've completed 2 rounds of West Nile testing with all samples testing negative. The highest visibility of this program to the public are the trucks at night, but they're the least of the program. So when the public sees the trucks being utilized as much as they have been since the end of June, we're behind a step on these little bloodsuckers. The trucks are only a temporary fix until breeding sources can be addressed. We all, Rose and the residents of Grand Lake Township, need to stay vigilant in identifying breeding sites and dumping them out as soon as possible. Call in standing water that lasts more than 5 days and allow us to fight the mosquitoes during the day with much longer effect. We will stay attentive in our efforts. We ask for tolerance and patience as we are in this together with the residents of Grand Lake Township, and we currently are using every resource we possibly have to lower the population.
Any questions or comments? Yes.
What street was the pool?
Do you really want that on record?
I'm not at my address.
Linus Street, which is Area 1A off of Fenton, and that affected all those streets from Hill Road all the way to Maple, obviously. I mean, it was a huge source. But that's not it. It's boats, it's tires, every call they're going to, they're dumping out something. So if we could get the residents the day after rain to go and dump stuff out, we'd see a little increase, but it wouldn't last 2-3 weeks like this one's probably going to last, because we just got another inch on Tuesday.
shrubs are bad too, you know, when people haven't done their shrubs.
Right, or tall grass.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a question about pools. Let's say that a neighborhood has somebody with a swimming pool, whether it's above ground or in ground, and it's not being maintained. You go out there and it's a mosquito breeding ground. What do you recommend? Drain the pool or?
Drain the pools, yeah, number one, if they can. If it's in ground, they can fill it. We've dealt with this before, where if we can't get permission by the property owner to go and treat it, then we turn them into code enforcement. That's all, the only choice we have.
So do we have a code against just having a pool that's not being maintained?
I've seen one or two get tore down in the 12 years.
Because I think I might know of an above ground pool that's not being filtered, so
Yeah.
probably is breeding mosquitoes.
And if they're going to go back to it next year, we can treat it with a 5-month product and get them through the year this year if they're going to reopen it next year. So.
You mentioned boats. What about like uncovered boats? People back there.
We just found another doozy of them today. They got to pull the plugs on those boats and let them sit there and drain or put a cover over them. But we just found another one today that was affecting probably 5 or 6 houses.
Because I know one of those, and I don't know whether the drain is pulled on it.
Until we get invited on that property and look ourselves, we don't trespass. So
Maybe our ordinance people had to tell them about it. But I just want to tell you I was out.
You can turn that, you know, you can turn that into, anonymously to the code enforcement office. It doesn't have to have your name on it.
Okay,
And,
I don't mind, but
yeah.
I was out in Swartz Creek this week, as mentioned to our chairwoman, just yesterday actually, and I happened off Elms Road, and I stepped out of the truck, and tell you what, the mosquitoes were so thick, I thought, oh my gosh, and I'm talking to people in other communities right now, they can't even go outside in the evening. And I got to say, ours, even though I know, you know, we're trying to play catch up in some regards with all this rain, it's so much better. I mean, if you go to these surrounding communities, you'll see what the mosquito level is like right now.
and what's weird is we do Montrose Township. We're not getting the calls up there because they missed the rain on the 22nd. It kind of split. It's south of 69. We have a meeting with the city of Swartz Creek next week because it's been so bad over there for them. Money Township, I think I've had 1,000 calls just from Money Township this last couple of weeks. And the city of Grand Blanc is getting hit pretty hard.
What about us? How many calls have you had from us? Because I've got hardly any.
Well, good. I guess they're not that upset. We've had 350 since June 29th. If I looked overall, I'm probably up to 600 since the beginning of the season.
I don't know what number you're on right now, but we're having there's going to be a funeral at the cemetery on Saturday.
We got it covered. We'll be out there tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Your
'cause it was
DPW called
filled
this
with
morning,
mosquitoes.
so
Okay,
we moved
good.
it up on the list for tomorrow morning.
Thanks.
It's just one of those areas that's right next to the city limit with 1 or 2 houses in it. We're not going to go down there and spend the time if we don't get the call from them.
Okay,
So.
good.
Also, you didn't mention the letter that you got after you went to the homeowner that you talked about, okay? Saying how appreciative he was of what you did and how you told him, gave him several tips on what to do.
Right, and he was actually a neighbor of that, like the gentleman that responded back, because he just didn't know what was going on. And he had it so bad, he was butt up the backyard across the field from him. We get a lot of those, but the thing we ask is share that with the technicians. These guys are putting in 14 hours a day right now.
Yeah.
They're dedicated. They're all college kids, but they're all going into wildlife and fishery or entomology, so they bought in.
Yeah,
For as many hours as these kids are putting in, it's just amazing. So.
very good.
It would be nice if there was some way to really, and I know you send out the pamphlet, but it would be, I don't know how many people read that, but it would be nice if there would be a way to really let people know what you have to do, because that could be so simple.
And we take every news media source we could possibly do. We did Channel 12 this week to try to get it out there. Your Facebook page has got more people involved than it has in the past. Any way we can reach out, I mean, just we need people to go out and dump stuff out.
We've had solicitors actually put things in our mailbox for mosquito spray.
Yeah.
And there's people that pay for it in the township
Right, I know.
until they find out that
Yeah,
we're.
But,
right.
I mean, I just heard of one today, and they're like, hey, they should know about that. It's like they don't read their mail, and
Yeah.
they must not vote.
No, there's a lot of people that still don't have a clue what we do. If they don't see the truck, they don't think we're doing anything.
Just doing their part to help the economy.
Yeah.
Right.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, you do a great job. I appreciate what you guys do. It does work.
It does.
Yeah, we're about 4 days behind right now. We just got into the 6th calls today, but the 6th and the 7th and the 8th there's probably 7 or 8 calls per day on those. So I have 5 guys working full time. We only budgeted 3. We moved them down from up north. So right now we got 5 working during the daytime.
Okay. As usual, we're very appreciative of
Thank
the
you.
job you do.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now I would like to ask for the approval of the minutes of June 9th, June 11th, and June 25th, 2015, either separately or collectively.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th, 11th, and June 25th as a whole.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Minutes are approved for June 9th, June 11th, and June 25th. Now your treasurer's report, Mr. Buzet?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to present the monthly bills. The general total is $841,125.77. The DPW total is $1,366,568.72. The solid waste total is $109,570.22 for a grand total of $2,317,264.74. Move approval as presented, Madam Chair.
Support.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The treasurer's report is approved. Now, we have a resolution declaring a moratorium on the establishment of medical marijuana dispensaries in the township. The resolution reads, whereas the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act continues to be reviewed by the Michigan courts and the Michigan legislature, and whereas the current statutory language is unclear as to the right and method of dispensing medical marijuana, it is hereby resolved that at a meeting held by the Grand Blanc Township Board on July 9th, 2015, the Township Board declares that a one-year moratorium be placed on the establishment of medical marijuana dispensaries in the township.
Madam Chairman, so moved.
Is there a second?
Support.
Okay.
Mr. Bennett supports.
And so I would like a
Roll call.
roll call.
Mrs. Hoffman.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Mr. Guzak.
Yes.
Dr. Reardon.
No.
Mr. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution passes.
Yeah.
Next, we go to a request by the DPW Director to purchase a dump truck, 2016 International Cab and Chassis from the Tri-County International Trucks for $92,940.36, and have the Henderson Construction Body and Accessories installed by Knapheide Truck Equipment for $52,938. The total price of the truck will be $145,878.36, not to exceed $150,000 to accommodate changes within the design. Could I have a motion in regard
I'll
to
make
this
that motion.
purchase? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those,
Discussion.
do you have any discussion on this?
I wasn't sure, did you had to say anything?
No, I'm actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Just that, I'd just like to reiterate comments from Tuesday that I would like us to look at what our true expenses are on the snow plowing and consider in the future sending a bill to the county for the snow plowing, whether it's whatever we determine is appropriate as far as monthly or annually or what have you. But I think also our taxpayers need to know the amount of money that we're spending on a service that they're paying for twice, once to the county and once to us. So even though we probably won't receive any funds, I think it's important that the voters and taxpayers, Grand Blanc Township, are aware of being double dip.
Yeah. There's, yeah.
And Mr. Sears indicated that he was going to get us those exact
Yes.
costs.
Right.
So I'm thinking they'll be forthcoming.
Sure.
Yes.
And I'll vote based on that information coming.
All right.
I want to know, when you say that you think we should look at billing the county, I'm all in favor of that. And how do we go about coming to that conclusion? Do we have to put it on the agenda and have a vote on it, or can we just say, let's just bill
Those
the
that
county?
those that are interested, as long as you know, you don't have four people at a time can talk about it, you know.
Well, Madam Chair, I think you're going to get some data from
Yeah.
Mr. Sears, and if the board wants to, not necessarily as a part of this motion,
No.
but wants to give some direction to Mr. Sears to forward that
Yeah.
to the county in the form of a statement, you could do, or an invoice, you could do that as well. By the way, parenthetically, he is communicating with the road commission regarding actually the next item on your agenda. And he did share with them the general thoughts about how we have gone above and beyond, our residents have gone above and beyond, and the township's gone above and beyond, regarding services that not only benefit our residents, but also the county and the county residents. So he's keenly aware of that philosophy that you have. And so I think if you do, however you vote on this motion, if you want to also give him some direction to forward an invoice, and I'll help him with the formatting, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, let's get all the facts and do that, yes.
So,
Before we go ahead, before we make before we send
Decision on
anything to
that,
the
right.
vote.
okay, all right, so we'll double check with
Yeah.
him and we'll send it out. I think Mr. Anderson said his hand up.
Okay.
Yeah, two comments, one for the residents and attendants, Mr. especially you. You are correct, there's snow and ice equipment on the board packet. The particular truck we are voting on tonight is the 2016 International 7400 construction truck. This truck is not equipped with snow and ice equipment. It could be added in the future if we determine we need it, but at this point in time, it's not part of this purchase. And the snow and ice truck that's in the packet is not being purchased. That's not what this motion is for. So I want to make that statement clear. And the second one there is I would ask the board's permission for me to abstain from this vote because I work for an FI truck equipment.
Yes.
Yes, for me.
Good consensus? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we also discussed, if I may, Madam Chair, we just discussed the fact that this money is not coming out of water and,
Yeah.
snow plowing equipment is
Yeah.
not coming out
It's not coming out of water and sewer.
of water and sewer.
Construction equipment. And by the way, I'm
Yeah.
also
It is tracked
For
separately.
water and sewer, yeah.
And that is tracked separately.
Yes.
I also wanted in the record that regardless of the vote, I received no compensation and I'm not at all employed by the sales department. So this is not going to affect my
Very
gain
good.
either way.
We will make it over there. All right, in that case, it's time for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion passes to purchase the dump truck. Next, using the $61,880, the Genesee County Road Commission has allotted to the township in a 50-50 allocation funds by applying $47,801 to chip seal McCandless Road and using the remaining funds of $14,078 to chip seal a portion of Embury Road or provide ditching. Additional ditching, yes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We also have a request by the DPW director to approve the order for $65,775 from Aetna Supply to purchase the supplies which support the water department activities. These are mainly meters and these sort of things.
Just a comment, I am pleased that we're nearing the end of any of the replacement meters and looking forward to not having that in our budget.
Yes,
Or at
absolutely.
least not to the extent that we have yet.
I'll make the motion that we approve this.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? There is a request from the Parks and Recreation Director for $20,000 from the cell tower fund, which is dedicated to the Parks and Recreation Department for the Accessible for All Playscape project.
So moved.
Support.
Larry and Jude?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. And that's it. I have, in regard to my deal, I worked with the road commission today, and I had words with the county in regard to the road commission Monday. There's been some of those things going on. We worked in clarifying some of the things in our fire commission. I'm sorry, not the fire commission, but with our fire department, okay, in regard to the contract, that there was some questions over that. So we met and clarified those things with a letter of agreement, which you will be receiving at the next board meeting. And then been working with 911 and clarifying some of the things, well, working toward a purchasing agreement and clarifying some of the board bylaws, and to have a more direct participation, more transparency. Things have been moving along here. So I'll go on to you, Larry.
Okay.
Fire Commission.
Fire Commission meeting, we have a meeting coming up the 21st at 6 p.m. at the fire station. Nothing really new to report right now that I don't think we covered at the last meeting. Some improvements had to make at the fire station, some paintings.
It looks nice and clean with the new painting job, yeah.
Got the invite to come take a look at it out, I urge you to do so. Really, really impressive.
Is that the location on,
High Street.
On High Street, yeah.
is there some work going on Baldwin Road on the station?
Not yet, there is some plans though. There has been some training and stuff going on out there. There are some plans to paint out there, and what else we got scheduled for right now? I know we were gonna paint that one wall at the Station 3, and we're gonna, organize the office area, or
yeah, the training area.
Yes.
I'm looking to redo the floor and other improvements as well. I noticed that when I was out over at Station 3, the parking area, there's a lot of cracking, so in the future I'm looking to some kind of maintenance or repairs for that. Nothing to report presently, but that is an issue that will be coming up in the future. So I wanted to make you aware of that. Station 2, we'll have estimates for the Trinity Tower and for Station 2 as well. We had a company come out for the third estimate, but they couldn't do some of the work, so we'll have to get another company to come out. And basically I'm looking to tidy everything up, make sure I'm protecting the assets of the township and the city as well, and make improvements at minimal cost as possible. So anything I can do to improve the fire department and the service that we have for the citizens through the fire department, I'm definitely looking towards, and I'm trying to be very proactive for the future. I'm looking at long-term improvements and service for you and also the citizens. So.
And I know also the Fire Commission is also concerned about, it's never been done before with a new fire chief and a full-time department. I will get into more of a proactive maintenance program for the facilities versus what we had in the past, which was wait until something's bleeding and fix it. So, thank you. You're doing a good job.
Thanks.
Okay.
Any questions for anybody? And please feel free anytime, anytime at all. The fire department is an open book. I encourage you to come out, talk with me, talk with the firefighters. I'm free and available to talk with you anytime, day or night, whether it's business related or personal. Please, I encourage that very much so.
Okay, thank you. Scott, Planning Commission?
Sure. We had a interesting meeting this month on July 2nd, I believe. Yes, July 2nd, we had our planning commission meeting. And one of the comments that came up in the public hearing that I'm not sure where to take this, but one of the comments was that the agendas that we put together for the meeting, if somehow they could be more descriptive of actually what the issue is that we're going to be debating.
Okay.
On the agenda was under new business, SPR number 955, Banbury Commons Residential Open Space Public Hearing, by Redwood Acquisition, what have you. But the person making the comment was just concerned that by reading that, they didn't realize that up for issue was a 111 unit rental property. And which makes a difference whether or not you might want to come to the meeting or not. And we did have quite a few residents. And granted, a notice was sent out by mail to the residents in the immediate area. But we had actually people from all over the township attend, including some of the other fairly large apartment facilities in the township. I might have some concerns with it. While the presentation was very nice and showed a very favorable side to it, some of the residents actually that spoke brought photographs from other facilities similar to this that the same company had built in other locations around Michigan. That when we looked at, some of us looked at the photos, were dissuaded from thinking that this is something, unless they can upgrade a few things, like the materials that they use. And
now, do they have to go to the zoning committee?
Well, it was given to the site review committee to go into further detail with them and then to bring it back to the planning commission.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to review some of that, and our attorney is reviewing some of that information, and we'll see where it goes. But we did have substantial public comment. The room was pretty much full, and actually we did videotape the public comment and the presentation, and my son did. And I'm trying to figure out how to upload it.
Okay.
So I may use our the assistance of.
Okay.
But so if anybody wants to see that, that would be available hopefully.
Okay,
Not too long
great.
from now.
That's a good idea, and we'll try and follow through on that to have it more descriptive, and if you want it, so that it will be on the website or Facebook or
And I'm not quite sure.
Facebook we're limited to.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we describe, what's going on but maybe there's some way we can be more descriptive.
I think so, and I'm looking actually at the agenda from your planning commission meeting, and I think with Clear Zoning's help, we can make that a little more informative.
Yeah, descriptive, what have you. So the location of this, just so everybody here knows, and I've got the plans here. I've got a few over here. It's located off Blanc Road, just west of Dort Highway. And as you go down Blanc Road west of Dort Highway, on your left-hand side, there's a street, I believe it's Dunn something or other.
Oh, Dungarvan.
And then Dungarvan. Just past that is a wooded area on your left, and it's bordered on the west side by some condos. I think it's Woodstone or
Stony Ridge, isn't it?
no Stone. I think.
Stone,
Or
okay.
Woodstone. I forget which.
I guess
Woodstone. Woodstone on the west side, which are very high-end condos. Probably, I think when they originally sold, they were in the $400,000 range. But this rental unit would be situated in between there. So one of the major concerns, which isn't, priority for, it's a county issue, which is the road. Which there's a lot of concern with Blanc Road and the traffic, especially turning off the roads like Porter, out of Bicentennial Park. And being that it's kind of hilly there along with the overpass, it's difficult for people to see to make a left-hand turn. We had a number of people say that it takes at least 10, maybe 15 minutes to pull out safely out of some of those side streets on the Blanc Road. So the concern is, they need a left turn lane or some exit lane or entrance lanes, and that'll be up to the road commission to make those choices. But they were voicing their concerns here, which I don't know if that's passed on to the road commission or not, but they'll get the traffic study that was done. But the traffic study really didn't indicate that there's a problem, so
Well, somebody but from the planning commission, or Maria probably should tell Jeff that,
Yeah.
you know, now I will.
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to go to road commissioner, he will be taking my place
Okay.
this next Tuesday, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Do they take into consideration if we needed another apartment complex in town?
As long as the property is zoned, I'll defer to our attorney, but as long as the property is zoned for residential, you can't determine whether or not it's rental or
Okay.
property that's for sale.
But, okay, how does multiple fit with that? That's what my question was.
Well, same, I can't remember the zoning district that it's located. Oh, it's in the R2 district. And so to whatever extent the R2 district allows multiple, then it can be allowed. And it's a residential open space, so that means that what the planning commission is looking at is the set off of, and I don't know if I characterize this correctly, Mr. Bennett is more into this depth-wise, but it's basically a study of allowing preservation of open space and density to increase in certain parts of the development. So it isn't necessarily a multifamily versus single-family debate or an apartment versus a condo debate. It's more kind of about the layout of the property.
Okay. All right, and Parks and Zoning Board, back to Larry, Parks and Rec.
Okay, Parks and Rec, our next Park and Recreation meeting will be July 16th at 5:30 at the Parks and Rec office. I think I just want to touch on the $20,000 to be approved on the agenda tonight for the playscape. This is going to go along with some money that was raised by the National Parks and Recreation Foundation, which is a nationwide group, which picked 10 parks in the entire U.S. to grant money for this type of a playscape project, and we were one of 10 in the U.S. that received that grant. That, with the cell phone tower money and some various grants from other Grand Blanc businesses, such as Ronald McDonald House, Sarah Foundation, and a few other businesses, we're getting a playscape that's going to allow children of all, I guess, able-bodied and children with disabilities to enjoy together. It's going to be a playscape that's designed for both physically, emotionally handicapped children as well. So it'll be really neat. And it's going to be the first one of its kind in Genesee County. There's also a great article on it, I will say, in Grand Blanc View that came out today. So pick up your Grand Blanc View and get all the details.
Okay.
Madam Chair, can I ask you a quick question? Is that why it's called an all-accessible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Because, yeah.
Access for all, I think is what they advertise it as.
How much was the grant for, do you know?
I don't have the numbers in my head.
Okay. Mr. Laddie, anything?
No, ma'am.
In that case, I'll call for adjournment.
I'll support that.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes. We are adjourned.